didn't own the gate, so we don't have that stuff. They'll get it for you later. The gate was ridiculous. The attendance was amazing. Who has the first question? Our mic people were a little slow, sorry.
All good.
Go ahead, buddy. What's up?
Does this work? Yeah. Do you have any word on bonuses?
Talk louder. Oh, bonuses?
Yeah.
Yeah. Khabib, Azatar. These are fun names. Salikov and Muhammad. So there were 4 performance of the night bonuses and no fight of the night.
Gotcha. Can you just start giving your impressions of Khabib's performance tonight?
He looked unbelievable. He, incredibly dominant, even though there was some drama in there when he was caught in that guillotine. You know, a lot of people don't get out of that thing. Khabib is so good, he got out. Dustin had that thing deep. Most people would have tapped or went to sleep to that guillotine. So props on him for getting out of that too, and he looked completely dominant tonight.
Sure. It was obviously very hot in the venue tonight too. How did you talk to any of the fighters or coaches or anything?
It was what?
It was very hot inside the venue tonight.
You ever been to Brazil?
I have, yeah.
Yeah.
This was a little more, but it was. Did you talk to anyone on how that impacted the fights or anything? Did anyone? Has
it affected the fights?
Yeah, like did anyone give you any feedback on that front?
Listen, we fought here before. Mm-hmm. Last arena was outdoors. We fought some of the Brazil venues we fight in are really hot, and this is nothing new.
Yeah, and the co-main event.
Fighting altitude in Mexico.
Yeah, in the co-main event, Edson Barboza and Paul Felder, a really close fight there. I'm just wondering your impressions on that and Paul Felder getting the win. Did you score it that way?
Yeah, I thought that was a close fight. It could have gone either way. One of the judges had it 30-27. Yeah, I didn't have it that way.
And you announced Nate Diaz and Jorge Masvidal tonight. Can you just tell us how that came together and what happened to the Colby Covington-Kamaru Usman fight? Yeah, so that fight started to come together late last night, and we got it done. We got it done, and we offered Colby and Usman fights, and they didn't jump on it. So we rolled and we made another fight.
Hi, what do you feel like is next for Khabib? Everybody's talking about Tony Ferguson, so, I mean, it's 5th time the charm.
Hold on 1 second. Do we still need the music on? Why do we still have music on? You guys know when you come to these things, I'm deaf as it is. We got air conditioning and DJs, and I can't hear shit. Go ahead, honey. Say it again. I'm sorry.
No worries. I was saying, what do you think is next for Khabib? Everybody's talking about Tony Ferguson. Do you feel like 5th time's the charm? Do we have to see that fight now?
Yeah.
Tony Ferguson, do you feel like I...
What's that? He's next. I mean, Tony Ferguson is next in line for the fight if he accepts the fight. We'll see how this thing plays out. When Khabib will fight again, and if Tony wants to fight.
And when you look at Abu Dhabi, he headlined the show, assuming that he could be champion next year when the UFC head to Abu Dhabi or not. But do you feel like the market now, when you see the event, that they're really understanding and learning more about the sport? Do you feel like we could get a sold-out crowd with another title fight other than someone like Khabib?
Yeah. If I could get the Khabib fight done, I was going to bring Adesanya and Whitaker here. And that fight sold over 40,000 tickets in Australia already. So yeah, we're going to have an 18,000 seat arena, and we'll bring a fight here that sells it out again.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Just over here. Obviously, I know that the UFC have been to Abu Dhabi twice before. Can you just talk a little bit about why the decision was to come back and on, at this kind of scale? Obviously, we had the Abu Dhabi showdown as well. Can you talk a little bit maybe about the success of the whole week and if there are other plans to go forward with the Abu Dhabi showdown being centered around the events each year?
I didn't hear one word. Yeah, so what we're planning on doing when we come back, I've been in meetings all week about this, is basically doing like International Fight Week in Vegas, doing something like that here, but much bigger, much bigger than what's going on in Vegas for International Fight Week. And yes, I think that, you know, Abu Dhabi is a destination that people want to go to. They have great hotels here. They have great restaurants. The shopping is insane. And the list goes on and on. They're continuing to build all these incredible things to do here. And we're going to be a part of that over the next 5 years. Did I answer your question? Yeah? Okay.
Oh, yeah. Hello, Dana.
Hi.
The question is, with Khabib being such an amazing champion, such an amazing ambassador for the sport, and you have so many Russian fighters now on your roster, how closer is this fight is bringing a pay-per-view event to Moscow or to St. Petersburg?
Yeah, I think we're getting really close. The whole Russian thing is exploding and blowing up, and tons of talent from there. And I'm pretty sure that the fight tonight was on like your biggest television network in Russia, and you know it's going to be interesting to see the number that pulled tonight. But yeah, the Russian market keeps looking better and better and better. So the answer is yes.
Dana, a similar question about Africa, or South Africa in particular. We saw another two Africans really shine tonight. Is there any hope for African and South African fans to see a UFC event heading to our shores?
Absolutely, yeah. You know, I don't talk about it enough, but we've been working on that market for a long time too. And yes, we will eventually get there. I don't know when. I mean, I don't want to tell you we're going to be there in, you know, in 20 or anything like that, but we'll see. Anything is possible. But yes, we are interested in that market. Thank you.
Hi, to your left, Alex Como from Reuters. When do we see women headline in the Middle East?
Headlining in the Middle East?
Yes.
If I have a fight big enough to do it, we'll do it. Yeah.
Anything that comes to mind that you could bring here?
No, I mean, if I came here, I'd bring a Ronda Rousey, Holly Holm fight like we did in Australia, you know. I'd bring a massive fight. And it's one of those things. The crazy thing about this sport is to sit here right now and tell you what fight I could bring there, all I can do is give you an example of Ronda Rousey and Holly Holm. It's like 8 months ago if I'd have told you, hey, I'm going to headline MSG with Nate Diaz and Masvidal. I would have said, what? There's no way I would headline with that fight at MSG, but here we are. So you never know.
So hello, Igor Lazarin. You said that I like Stipe Miocic. Yeah? No? Yeah? So my question is, many people talks about rematch, Khabib against Conor. Do you think is it possible to organize it, when and where? And if it's not Conor and if it's not Tony Ferguson, who? Who against Khabib next?
Did you just ask me if I'm going to rematch Conor and Khabib? Was that the question?
Yeah.
Okay. Tony Ferguson gets the next shot, and obviously if for whatever reason Tony can't take the fight or you know doesn't want the fight at that time, then we would figure out what was next. But yeah, Conor would make a lot of sense. Conor McGregor wants that fight really badly, and I'm sure the fans would want to see it. So we'll see how this whole thing plays out.
Hello, hi there, Shadi Unleashed, to your left.
Hey, how are you, sir?
I'm all right, how are you?
Good.
Great having you in Abu Dhabi. I want to ask about Triple C, Henry Cejudo, what's next for him? And is Dominic Cruz any closer to come in back to the octagon?
So I don't know the status of Cruz right now. I know he's hurt. I don't know how far along he is or when he'll be back. And then Cejudo, we're talking about him fighting Benavidez when he's ready to come back and defending that title.
I'd also, thank you very much for the info. I'd like to ask about Amanda Nunes. Do we know what's next with her?
You're like the 10th person that's asked me that today about Amanda. So I've been on the road now for 2 weeks, China and here, and when we get home, those are all the things we're going to start working on. I had to get a main event done for New York. We got that done. When I get back, we'll figure out what's next for Nunes and the rest of the crew.
Elena, there is a big discussion in Russian MMA community about who was the first UFC champion from Russia, Oleg Taktarov or Khabib Nurmagomedov, and it would be interesting to know your opinion on that.
Who was the first champion for Russia? Khabib or Oleg? Listen, off the top of my head, did Oleg hold a belt? You guys know, what was it? Tournament? He won a tournament? Yeah, it's a belt. Yeah. I guess you could call Oleg the first champion. I mean, you can't, if a guy wins the tournament and wins the belt, you can't consider him not a champion, right? I mean, he won. So yeah. But I don't want to be the authority on it. Like Dana White said it was Oleg, that's the answer. I don't know, I don't know enough about it, or you know. We'd have to ask somebody like, I don't know, like Joe Silva, like an encyclopedia of MMA would know more about that than me. Go ahead.
Hi. First of all, isn't Amanda Nunes fighting Jermaine Durandamy? Amanda Nunes? You were saying you don't know what's next.
Yeah.
Okay. And
the question is when.
Okay.
Yeah.
December. All right. I was gonna say, were you trying to do John Jones and Jan Błachowicz for UFC 244 in New York? Was that even something you tried to do, or and is Jan next for John Jones?
Yeah, we tried to do that fight.
All right. What went down? Was it negotiations?
It didn't happen.
All right. Can we see that fight? Can we see that fight in December? Is that the fight you're trying to make, or is there other options?
No.
All right.
I have no idea.
All right.
You guys hear all this shit, but it doesn't mean something's done. Until we announce a fight, it doesn't mean anything. I mean, I see this shit out everywhere about, you know, this, that, and everything else, and all these guys who are supposed insiders. They don't know anything until the fight is done.
All right, one more, sorry. You did looking forward to a fight here. Do you think you could ever do a looking for a fight in the Middle East?
Yeah, next year. Next year, when we come back next year, we're talking about looking for a fight and actually having the fight on the top of the Louvre. Oh. Yeah, we're going to do some cool stuff when we come back here next year.
Awesome. Thank you.
Thank you.
Sir, Dana, hello. This way.
Hi.
Hi. I have 2 questions about European MMA and events in Europe. As we know, this year there will be 2 more events in Moscow and Copenhagen. And what are the plans from UFC for the next year? And will you come back to Poland, Czech Republic, or Germany, or somewhere near there?
Yeah, listen, I've been on the road for 2 weeks, you guys. I'm fried. You guys are asking me shit that I don't know right now. You know, where we're going next or what we're doing, I couldn't tell you right now off the top of my head.
So second from me, and this will be the last one, Dan Lambert said that Joanna Jędrzejczyk is next to have a title shot if she wins with Michelle Waterson on October. Can you confirm that?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know the answer to that either. I don't know, guys. The fight just happened. I was been in China. I was here. I don't know what the hell I'm doing next. I'm going home. I'm gonna sleep for a couple days, and then I'll figure out all this shit. What's next, and all these other fights. If you have questions about what happened tonight, I got answers for those. No, you done with me then?
I have a question about Zubaira, but it also concerns like his next plans, because on the media day, Zubaira said that now, when he's back in the octagon, he would like to fight as much as possible. So he is eyeing up the card in December. Would you see him fighting there in December?
Who?
Zubaira Tukhugov. Yeah,
if he's healthy, we'll turn him around and fight him again. Yeah, I actually like guys that want to stay active and stay busy. I think it's great for them, so I love it.
You're doing an amazing show looking for a fighter. You are saying that you are going to go over globus. Where are you going to visit in other countries and maybe Russia with this show to find new great fighter for UFC? Looking for a fighter show.
Oh yeah, no, oh yeah, yeah. No, I love that. I would love. I know that there's a lot of shows that go on over there. We've talked about. What do you say? What? Yeah, yeah. The answer is yes. I would love to do that, and we've talked about doing that. We're going to Hawaii in October, and then and we had a blast out here, so we would love to do some international stuff. And Russia makes sense. Like I was saying, somebody else in here was asking about Russia. Yeah, I would love to do that.
Hey Dana, over here. When you announced Nate versus Jorge, you also said that you're going to be making a BMF belt for them.
Yeah.
Just give us the dynamics of that, because that's not usually something the UFC's done in the past, like sort of making custom titles or belts.
Yeah, yeah, it's true. You know, this fight is one of those fights that sort of took on a life of its own, and you know, Nate said in his interview, this is a fight to see who's the baddest motherfucker in the game. And he's like, that's what this championship is. So, all right, I'm in.
So, with that being said, could we expect the winner to fight someone else for the baddest motherfucker title? No, it's a one-off.
It's a one and done. Whoever wins the belt and claims the title of, you know, BMF. Anybody else?
I just wanted to ask you about after the fight with Khabib and Dustin. You saw them trade their shirts afterward, and Khabib said he's going to donate some of the stuff to Dustin's charity. Can you just, you know, comment on, you know, that display of respect and, you know, what that kind of says about these athletes?
Yeah, no, it's awesome, and I think pretty much the sentiment here was, you know, everybody loves the way that Khabib carries himself, and, you know, the whole thing with him and Conor. I mean, I think you guys were there at that press conference when that thing went down, and everybody was asking me after. I said this was the darkest press conference I've ever been a part of. It was very weird. You know, those two just dislike each other that much, I guess. So, but at the end of the day, Khabib is a great guy, you know, a very respectful guy, and any interaction I've ever had with him has been, and obviously Dustin's the nicest kid in the world. So. It's always cool when you see these guys respect each other like they did, and for him to switch shirts and then take his stuff and donate it to charity is it's pretty awesome. And I'll tell you what, no, I'm thinking about it. I'll match whatever Khabib does. So
that's amazing. And just, you know, to speak a little more on Khabib, he's the first fighter since Anderson Silva to start 12-0 in the UFC. He's obviously 28-0 overall. How special of a fighter is he?
Yeah, pretty special, man. I mean, I think he's a couple fights away from potential GOAT status, you know what I mean? To go undefeated this long with this many fights, especially in a division that's that stacked, he's looking down the barrel of pretty special career.
Hi Dana. Ramzan Kadyrov was present as a guest at the tournament. Do you know this person, and maybe did you communicate with him today? Ramzan Kadyrov was present as a guest at the tournament. Do you know this person, and maybe you communicate with him today?
You're going to need a translator, sir.
Ramzan Kadyrov, the president of Chechnya. That's what he's trying to say.
What about?
Do you know this person?
No, I don't. I didn't even see him.
You never heard about Ramzan Kadyrov, yeah?
Never thought about it? What? I don't know him, and I didn't see him. Yeah, I don't know him. I didn't see him. Okay. Yeah, go ahead.
Hi, Dana. Is Dom from All About MMA from Brazil? I know you are tired and you don't want to talk about future, but people in Brazil are talking about George St. Pierre to come back and fight with Khabib. Do you think this is possible to happen in the future?
Sure.
Great.
Sure.
Thank you, boss.
All right.
Thank you, boss.
Good night, you guys. Thank you.